yesterday. You made an announcement that you're not running for the governor of California.
Correct. Yeah.
You said you're going to sit this one out.
For now, I don't want to go back in the system. I think it's broken.
Because this is, I'm just going to speak, okay? So this is it. So you know how those lids on those Starbucks cups, they're white, right? And so if you wear lipstick, they get all over the lid. And so then I find myself in meetings if I'm the only woman, and that's kind of, and so I keep taking the lid off and having my cup out so that I don't have that big lipstick mark on the lid. So I said, can we do something about the color of the lid? So that was that conversation.
Oh, God. Have you ever seen the movie called The Witches of Eastwick?
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and CBS is just cramming it in Colbert's face as yet another leak has come out that Stephen Colbert's support, his support is waning as he continues to mock CBS and Paramount over the Late Show cancellation. And meanwhile, his peers are getting renewals, which absolutely flies in the face of all of the conspiracies. Jimmy Fallon got renewed. That news comes out. I don't know if it's a brand new thing he signed or if they're just reporting it now. But news of his renewal until 2028 drops the same day that he has agreed to have conservative megastar Greg Gutfeld on his show. It seems like the tides are changing, that those are willing to get on board with being nonpartisan, and those who are not. There's a pretty clear line of delineation. If you're not on board with not being a partisan hack, you're going to be fired. Stephen Colbert's support waning as he mocks CBS and Paramount over Late Show cancellation. Now, this is an exclusive from The Inquirer. Stephen Colbert was unafraid to call CBS and Paramount out after The Late Show was abruptly axed. But according to a new insider, his pals are concerned he's going too far with his continued criticism of the networks. Quote, when his show was first canceled, people were on his side. His fellow late night talk show hosts were backing him, and colleagues were cheering him on for sticking up for himself. But now he's doubling down too aggressively, and now support is waning, an insider exclusively tells National Enquirer. The feeling is he's going off a ledge, and it's not a smart move, adds the insider. Well, I'm sure that, Kimmel and everyone else who's, they say that Kimmel is profitable, so I have to give him that, even if he is a moron. But they say that, basically everybody else, Seth Meyers, etc., they're all losing money. I'm sure they're like, hey, Colbert, can you please stop? Because you're going to encourage these people to simply cancel all of us. As Colbert, 61 years, the end of his contract, and the need to begin job hunting, others are seeing a bitter side to him that could potentially hurt his future prospects in the business, according to the insider. Even worse, the talk show host is taking serious risks with some of his comments and could potentially end up in legal trouble if he doesn't calm down and stop dragging people's names. As his Inquirer has previously reported, Colbert confirmed that The Late Show would permanently end in May 2026. Following the announcement, fellow late night show hosts flooded social media with support. Jimmy Kimmel wrote, "Love you, Stephen. F you and all your Sheldon." CBS. Seth Meyers penned, "As for a great comedian and host he is, Stephen Colbert is an even better person." That's not true. Meanwhile, Watch What Happens Live host Andy Cohen said he was pissed off after the decision, as journalist, television personality Katie Couric admitted that she was so upset and wanted more information. CBS and Paramount executives insisted the late night show's cancellation was purely financial decision against a challenging backdrop and was not related in any way to the show's performance, content, or other matters happening at Paramount. However, on Monday, July 28th, Colbert reportedly poked fun at the Paramount-Skydance merger by making a number of urine jokes on there, which we talked about. I'm thrilled for everyone at Paramount that the deal went through, and I'm very excited for the new whatever. People, he's overplaying his hand. This is something that I often point out when people do it. And just look at how everyone else is reacting. Jimmy Fallon has now invited Gutfeld on The Tonight Show. Media meltdown ensues. This is late last night from Hollywood and Toto. Christian Toto, very, very nice guy. Got to do a couple reports with him on Gina Carano on site in Montana. Very nice dude. The Tonight Show is trying something new, extending an olive branch to half of the country it wrote off in 2017. Cue the wailing and gnashing of teeth. Jimmy Fallon's low-rated showcase, as liberal as any late-night show in the Trump era, but less cruel, will host Fox News' Greg Gutfeld on Thursday in a sane world that's hardly noteworthy. Fox's Greg Gutfeld praises great guy Jimmy Fallon, trashes other late-night show hosts ahead of his Tonight Show appearance. It's the biggest crossover since the Harlem Globetrotters visited the Golden Girls. What?
But while Colbert interviews a loser, Jimmy Fallon invites a winner. Yes, I'll be appearing on The Tonight Show next Thursday. It's the biggest crossover. Thank you. Yes. It's the biggest crossover since the Harlem Globetrotters visited the Golden Girls.
That was a good episode.
Yeah, and B. Arthur hit a triple-double.
Yeah. Shout out B.
It looks like I'll be on with the Jonas Brothers, which is great. I haven't seen them in a while. A lot of people don't know this, but I was one of the original members. Until they booted me out for being too hot. But it should be fun. Fallon seems like a great, genuine guy who wants to make people laugh instead of putting them to bed angrier than the view at a salad bar.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, this is a seismic shift. It's pretty clear to me that if you want to keep your job in late night, you're going to have to try and win back at least the moderate. Like, I'll never tune in to Stephen Colbert. I don't care who's on, right? But Jimmy Fallon, if he starts having like regular, interesting people on, it doesn't all have to be right wingers. But if he just gets away from the politics, you know, I might watch a clip or something like that. I don't really watch late night TV. I think basically it's a dying trade, much in the way that, you know, YouTube standalone news clips of some fat bearded guy reading clips will soon be replaced by big-chested AI anime waifu girls. I still think they could extend their time of relevance if they take a minute and actually try to, you know, reach out to both sides.
And unlike the other guys, Jimmy sitting with me proves he's not afraid of upsetting his peers or afraid of my mesmerizing charm. Remember, he was destroyed for humanizing Trump by messing up his hair.
That's true.
The angry mob wanted a brutal takedown, but Jimmy did something different. He had fun, which is criminal to the liberal hive mind. And so Fallon was eviscerated, an example of the media teaching everyone a lesson that if you dare humanize Hitler, we'll dehumanize you.
Right.
But it's a different time now. Things are changing. Maybe we can have fun with each other, even if politically we're different. And if he wants to run his fingers through my hair, I will not complain.
I mean, that's what the thing is, that's what everybody wants. You know? That's what everybody wants. Like, I don't want a world where everything's hyper partisan all the time. I don't want, you know, I don't want to turn on TV at night and hear the same crap I saw all day on X. You know, and like, this is, I mean, Colbert, you even look at CNN panel shreds Kamala Harris's Colbert interview for her lack of solutions after 6 months to figure it out. Even like Colbert goes back to, you know, Colbert goes back to his bread and butter and tries to bring her out. Listen to this.
But I think what people want are solutions, and she has not said a single one. And consistently, people want her to be descriptive about what she says is wrong. And I don't think that interview, she was able to do that. And it's a shame because she's had 6 months to figure it out.
She hadn't said anything really for 6 months.
She hasn't said anything for 6 months.
Last night was not, I mean, it stood out. She was especially robotic, but that is a long-standing problem for her. She even
I mean, this is a network that told you all who to vote for and why to, you know, this is a network that endlessly said to vote for Kamala Harris.
looked physically uncomfortable, like her shoulders seemed up into her neck most of that interview, which was just striking because, you know, she has nothing to lose right now. She could be energetic or much more candid than she was. In that interview, it seemed more like a lament for where things went last year, where the party is now. There was no message of leadership or moving forward or even clarity on what, again, like Jasmine said, what is the system? Is she talking about the California gubernatorial system, the election system?
If you don't want to run for governor, then say, I don't want to run for governor. I want to survey my options. But
she doesn't want to run for governor. I mean, this, Stephen Colbert's next move, she basically got lambasted for this just terrible interview with Kamala Harris. And Kamala Harris was very unlikable, but like, I know it's easy to like kind of poo-poo her viability as a candidate just because it's like, well, Trump won, but people act like it wasn't even close. I mean, Pennsylvania breaks a different way. We might have President Kamala Harris. So I talked about earlier, like AOC is a very real possibility as the 2028 Democratic nominee. People want to laugh and say, ha, 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 ha. Like, we live in essentially an effective two-party oligopoly or duopoly. And I don't think that we should be dismissing any of these losers. I will say, by the time the 2028 election comes around, an important thing that these people are all losing is they're losing their propaganda machine, right? There won't be Stephen Colbert to endlessly pump these losers into America's living room. Jimmy Fallon has already signaled he doesn't want to do this political stuff. He was forced into it. And now they're saying Stephen Colbert's next move after Late Show cancellation gets mixed reviews from fans. Colbert was back in the headlines Monday after singing his first prominent gig after CBS and Paramount cancels Late Show after 10 months, citing declining late night revenues. Colbert's cancellation after a 10-year run drummed up a considerable controversy. Some said it was just business as usual, and the host's left-leaning politics alienated a significant chunk of the potential audience. Others said that Colbert was clearly a political martyr. Well, why didn't they just replace him then? People that say he's a political martyr, then answer me this question. Why didn't they replace him? Why did they end the entire show? Right? Now, this was what's interesting. He's taken a humiliating job, right? Washington, D.C. born entertainer is now set to play a late night show host in a guest role on the CBS series Elspeth. I don't know what that is. Vulture reported on Friday. And he began filming his Art Imitates Life role last week in New York City. Other stars who have made cameos on the series include Retta, don't know who that is. Matthew Broderick, okay, I know who that is. Laurie Metcalf and Jane Krakowski, don't know who either of those people are. Some reactions to Colbert's major professional move after his cancellation appear to support it. You can't put a price on bending the knee. Others remain critical, writing Z, he's a biased loser. Others said of Elspeth, oh, another show that doesn't win its time slot. Some pointed out the irony of Colbert's role on the show, with one person asking, so is Stephen to play a late night talk show host who, as it turns out, was destroyed by a network executive? Others predicted the big name guest star almost always the evil guy. I mean, I don't really care. Let the guy work. I don't think he's ever going to garner an audience ever again. He may do a YouTube podcast, which will be an absolute failure. And hopefully I won't have been replaced by AI and I'll still be here to make fun of it with you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, please subscribe or follow down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.